On a rainy night, a city bus trundled through the dark streets, its yellow lights casting eerie shadows on the wet pavement. Inside, the few passengers sat in uneasy silence. The bus driver, an older man with graying hair and tired eyes, kept his focus on the road ahead, unaware of the ominous presence boarding his bus. At the next stop, a figure cloaked in black stepped aboard. The passenger was unusually tall, their face hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat and a long, heavy coat. The figure moved with a deliberate slowness, each step echoing ominously in the near-empty bus. The driver, feeling a chill run down his spine, glanced at the rearview mirror and saw the mysterious figure take a seat at the very back. As the bus resumed its route, the driver couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The bus rumbled along, passing through desolate streets lined with shuttered shops and abandoned buildings. The passengers began to notice the strange figure at the back of the bus. Whispers spread among them, but no one dared to confront the stranger. A young woman clutching her umbrella tightly finally broke the silence. "Who are you?" she called out, her voice trembling. The figure remained silent, their heads slowly turning to fix a piercing gaze upon her. The woman's heart pounded in her chest as she saw the glint of red eyes beneath the shadow of the hat. The lights on the bus flickered, casting everything in an eerie glow. The passengers gasped as they noticed that the figure's feet were not touching the ground. The air grew colder, and a sense of dread settled over everyone. "Get off my bus," the driver demanded, trying to sound authoritative but failing to mask his fear. The figure stood up, their presence growing more menacing by the second. Suddenly, the bus screeched to a halt, and the lights went out completely. In the pitch-black darkness, the passengers could hear the sound of heavy breathing and the unmistakable feeling of being watched. When the lights flickered back on, the figure was gone, but the bus was no longer on the familiar streets of the city. Instead, it stood on a narrow road surrounded by dense, foreboding woods. The driver, now visibly shaken, tried to start the engine, but it was dead. A sense of panic spread among the passengers as they realized they were stranded in the middle of nowhere, with no cell service and no way to call for help. The young woman looked out the window and saw shadowy figures moving between the trees, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The driver grabbed a flashlight and stepped off the bus, determined to find help. The passengers watched him disappear into the darkness, his light bobbing in the distance until it was swallowed completely by the night. Minutes felt like hours as they waited in tense silence. Then, without warning, the bus door creaked open, and the driver stumbled back inside. His face was pale, and his eyes were wide with terror. "They're coming," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "We have to get out of here." But it was too late. The shadowy figures emerged from the woods, closing in on the bus. The passengers huddled together, their fear palpable. The last thing they saw before the lights went out again was the figure in the wide-brimmed hat standing at the front of the bus, a sinister smile spreading across their face. When the sun rose the next morning, the bus was found abandoned on the side of the road. There was no sign of the driver or the passengers, only the lingering sense of dread that hung in the air. A chilling reminder of the night they vanished without a trace.